on this week, I caught up with the takeover himself, Teofimo Lopez. Started off by asking him about his next opponent, Jermaine Ortiz.
Say it like this, plain and simple. This is the super fight of the takeover. This is where we start everything and where we really amp it up for the boxing world, and we shake it up again like we've done with the Taylors, with the Lomas, and a little bit of the Camboses. Now we shake it up again in my term, in my own way. So, you know, I'm very grateful. I just want to say thank you to Bob Arum, Todd DeBuff, the visionary of boxing of Top Rank, you know, and also I just want to thank ESPN for the beautiful platform, and everyone and all my fans out there in the UK, you know, and all Europe too. You know, I'm so honored. You know, it's great to be back in this time now. You know, facing a fighter that I fought in the National Golden Gloves in the finals. You know, so in the finals. Well, a lot of people don't understand USA Boxing. This is one of the biggest, if not toughest, outside of the Olympic trials tournament in all of amateur boxing. So I'm not facing no chump. I'm facing the guy that was in the finals with me. So this is a great showdown. I believe everyone should be there, and their grandmother, you know, and honestly witness some greatness stuff right here. We both know each other from that time. I was 17. And now at 26, you know, let's see what else has he learned, what I have learned through the pro ranks. And, you know, look at it like this. Mandalay Bay Resort World. Mandalay Bay Resorts Casino, you know, Michelob Ultra Arena, you know, where there's 12,000 people in attendance. Super Bowl weekend. They're going to have the NFL experience there at the Mandalay Bay. They're going to host it. I hope that you're there, Adam, so you can witness some more greatness.
That's right. Mate, listen. You know, every single time we try our very best to get in there, because there's something special. I've been lucky enough to see you do it in New York.
I won't forget when you it was you and my man with the glasses and the nice curly hair. Yeah, I was watching me and Edis Tatley fight, and you guys were recording it. And
that's right.
And, you know, and I just love the way you guys had that reaction. He's like, "Oh, that's it. Oh, wow." You know, beautiful body shots and stuff. And you know, I look to present myself that way. You know, I think that, you know, along the marriage part, along the journey, I had to go through hardships to now be who I am today. You know, and I think that's the beauty of life, is it not? The beauty of life is teaching you experiences and lessons. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. You know?
In that journey from 2015, since you were last in with Ortiz, to obviously this point now, and you're a very different cat now. Obviously, I saw some pictures the other day of when you two were facing off for the Golden Gloves, and you're babies, man. You're very young guys in there. Obviously, you look fresh-faced, clean-shaven, looking all young, man.
Right.
But so much has happened since then, professionally and personally, of course. You're a completely different guy, even though you're still only 26 years of age, and achieved so much. At 17, did you believe by the time you would hit 26, you would be a two-time Ring Magazine champion, undisputed at lightweight, obviously taking on the guy that was the guy at 140, beating that guy, beating previous champions in the likes of Richard Cumming? Most of this stuff happens for a lot of people as they hit 27, 28, 29, 30 years of age.
In their prime, right?
You've already done it pre-prime. Did you believe that was already at that time at 17? Did you think, I'm going to turn pro and that thing's going to happen?
I knew one thing and one thing only from all of this was this. When I turned pro, I knew I'm finally home, because the amateurs are very hard for me. My style is not of amateur-like. It's more pro style-like. And I think that was the only thing that I could say that I knew I was going to be okay, was because now I'm finally home. Now I'm finally in a place that will fit my style. I'm finally in a place that will fit my IQ-ness, you know, and that is the most important thing in the sport of boxing, is your IQ, what's your level at, the challenges that you take, the risks that you go after, you know, and that's the most important part that I actually want to educate the next generation that follows, is if you really want to show the world how great you are, you must step up to the plate every time. And no matter if you believe in yourself in those moments, just take it, because it's meant for you, you know, and I'm going after stuff like that, stuff that my eyes cannot even see, you know? So, and that's really what, but do I believe that I was going to be all of this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I took the chance. And that's all you need in life is to take chances.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Is that why then we're still in that momentum? And that's why we're hearing you call out people like Terence Crawford, for example, this week? Is that...
You damn right. You damn right. And they're going to get this. They're going to get thunder and they're going to get lightning. So and you know what I'm saying? And then we put them together, we're going to give them a sonic boom. So it just goes all in conjunction, man. And I'm so grateful because that's how we get bigger fights. And that's how we get the best fighting the best. You got to get guys like Teofimo. Man, they got to make more of me. They should clone me more out there for the sport of boxing so that we could keep this amped.
You see, people will watch and listen to this interview and they'll hear me say Teofimo calls out Terence Crawford. And then automatically the thought process is, oh, that's crazy. He's 140 and there's plenty of fights for him. But listen, when you actually sit back and think about that call out, it makes an awful lot of sense because as fight fans, we want to see the best guys fight the best guys. We want to see the biggest challenges in the world. And when you think of years gone by and the great fights, you think of lineal champions from one weight division challenging another lineal champion from another weight division, the Durans against the Leonards, for example. And you think about you being the one at 140 and him being the one at 147. Yes, there's fights at 140, of which I would love to see, and I'll get to them in a minute. But if we can make Teofimo Lopez versus Terence Crawford this year, that's a super fight. That's like generational.
You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop here. You know, Terence Crawford is not the next guy. No, we surpass Terence Crawford. We move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? But right now is, like I said, my objective is this. It's the most important fight of my whole entire career. Scratch off the Taylor, scratch off the Loma. It is Jermaine Ortiz who is next. And that's my main guy that I got to focus on because none of this even matters if I don't, you know? You know this. However, I have to start rolling that ball to have folks like yourself bring that up and understand what it really means. What is the definition of boxing? The best facing the best. Regardless of the outcome, we need to see two pioneers face always. And that's the only way we get to save our beloved sport.
The full interview with Teofimo Lopez is available on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. It's about 20 odd minutes there. It talks about all different aspects of stuff and fights that he's hopefully going to be making in 2024. One thing that I did pick up from that conversation is that he did go through a little bit of a tough time personally, of which maybe affected some of his performance professionally. The sparkle in his eye is back. You know, that little bounce. We've met him a couple of times, and when you've met him previously, he's a cheeky little chap, you know what I mean? He's got a little bit of swag about him. It's back, mate.
I mean, listen, you go back to the Kambosos defeats and even the Martin defeat, and you look at that and you go, there was a dip, and you go, is this one of those guys that seems to have peaked and he's on the decline as early as like 25 years of age or whatever? But no, it wasn't. Like you said, there was personal problems going on outside of the ring that was affecting his performances inside of the ring. And we saw against Josh Taylor in that last fight, like he was back to his best. And you know what? I love what he said there, you know, about the best fighting the best. And, you know, we were talking about it before where you go like, you know, you don't have to be at just 135 or at 140 or 147. He's talking about, yeah, give me them fighters. Give me the Haneys. Give me, like, let me go through these guys. I want to fight the best. I love that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what boxing's all about. And boxing does need that, you know, like these superstars boxing because, you know, around that 135 up to 147, the mix, the fighters we've got in those divisions, just absolutely insane.
It's kind of dominated. And I know that, listen, we've got Josh Taylor, who is, we're told, maybe going up to 147, but there's chat constantly about him and Jack Catterall doing it again. Jack Catterall is in that 140 mix, and hopefully this year Jack Catterall gets an opportunity to fight for a world title. I believe that he's involved in an eliminator with Richardson Hitchens, if I'm not mistaken, of which then could propel him forward towards the IBF crown, which is Subriel Matias, which will be a great fight. Listen, Matias could be the dark horse of the whole blooming division here. That guy hits like a blooming mule. But then the rest of it is dominated by America. You know, the heavyweight divisions.
Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Javante Davis, like all these guys in and around that weight. Ryan Garcia. You know, just they're pound for pound stars that I'm mentioning, like just throwing out there, like, and they, you know, there's great fights to be had. I think we get them, by the way, in 2024.
Well, the beautiful thing about it is that you've just mentioned, like, for example, Devin, who's flying at the moment, and he's, what, 23, 24 years of age? Teofimo's just turned 26. Tank is actually the oldest of the lot. I think he's about 28, 29 years of age. Ryan's same age as Devon, I think. So we're talking about guys that haven't even hit prime yet. Prime's like 28 through to 32 for these fellas. So we're pre-prime. If they get their act together, one, generationally, they could reignite the love of the American fight fan over in the States. Because let's be dead straight about this. The majority of the American fight fans are turning towards MMA. There's nothing wrong with that because you're getting the fights that you want to see and it is incredibly competitive. But the sweet science is where it should be really at. Let's be dead straight about this.
Absolutely. Listen, you need great dance partners to create legacies and eras. You know, when you talk about like Leonard Hagler, Hearns Duran, you know, when you look at that, the Fabulous Four, and you look at those guys and they all boxed each other. And, you know, we had every single one of those fights were great fights. You know, we are talking about modern day fighters. Like, you go back in history and you look at that and now we really appreciate what that was then, right? These kids that we're talking about there, like your Shakur Stevens, Devin Haney's, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, all those guys, you look at them and you go, there could be something really, really special there in years to come. Hugely. When you look back at it and you go, you know, like I say, you know, it's all about modern eras, legacies and whatnot. And if all these guys get it on and they mix it, whether that's at 140 or 147, Teofimo in there as well, you just go, we may look back on this in 10, 15 years' time and go, what an era.
Well, that's the point that I'm trying to make. You look at Crawford Spence, that best fight of last year, best performance of last year, definitely from Terence Crawford. Both guys, 34 and over, of a certain age. So you're limiting the time of being able to get a rematch or a trilogy. If you look back at the old school, go and look at Sugar Ray Leonard's bumming record of when he was fighting Hearns, when he was fighting Duran, when he was fighting these guys. He was fighting them in his 20s, early 20s, and he had time off, then came back and then did it all again. These guys have an opportunity to recreate that now for us. Fight each other. Have one, have two, have three. You fight him, you fight him, you fight him. You'll make a ton of cash and you will reignite the love of the American fight fan back towards boxing. They could do something very, 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 very special.
Absolutely. Listen, I think it's a reality as well, by the way. I really do think it's a reality, and I do think we get those fights. I think we get our wish list for 2024.
Oof, mate, come on. Here we go. Let's get on a plane. Let's get cracking.